Hey guys, I want to show you how I remove the tires off these rims if I want to recycle the rim. So this is not recommended. I'm showing you how I do it. There was actually a guy who was using his angle grinder, and they said it bounced off the tire, and they showed his face. It cut his face from top to bottom, basically cut it right to the skull, into the skull through, cut his face in half. So what the issue is what I think is, when you cut these tires, like I cut that one right across. So what happens is there's metal in there. There's belts of steel inside here. So you can see all that. So what happens when the grinding disc catches onto that, it starts pulling the whole grinder along. So if you're in the path of it, it's gonna just keep it going, because you can't kind of control that, because the RPM on this thing is like 12,000 RPM. So that's why I put the handle on, and it makes sure the wheel is shooting the debris away from me. And I got the face shield. You might want safety glasses too, because that's not going to stop much of anything except like minor debris. But if that blade breaks, that's not going to stop it. That's going to go right through your head. So I'm just using a regular grinding disc. You can get like a smaller one. I got one right here. If you want to cut along the bead, like I did right here. So I did damage the rim, but I'm not worried about that. Like if you do it carefully, you might even avoid. This one I went sideways, whereas this one I went like straight on an angle. But this one I was coming from the side, and I barely did any damage. So you might actually be able to reuse this rim. Because these low profile tires, I don't even bother trying to remove that. It's too hard to take these off. So here's the belt that I cut right through. So that's what I'm trying to cut. But most of the cutting I'm doing with snips. Just make sure that your snip is properly adjusted. So tighten this thing as much as it'll go, because if it's not tight, you're not going to get a cut. So I'm also showing you here, I can cut right along, you see, with snips. The actual tread, it's kind of hard with the snips. I just cut with the grinder. It's too thick, you see? It's too thick for the snips, I think. So, but if you're going at the bead right here, most of the cut I'm making is with the snip until I reach that belt. I make 2 cuts, so it's more like an inch wide, and then I go on a grinder just to get that piece, and it just opens. Just don't stay in the path in case it blows open. Don't stay in the path of this with your face. Be on the side of it. But for me, I just cut it. It didn't really fly open or anything. Neither side. I do this all the time, so I'm gonna show you here. I'm gonna cut this. I just tightened up because these things always come loose. Don't buy these. They're Fat Max. They don't work for metal. They're garbage. Maybe that's why, because they're always coming loose. I want to show you here. Just cutting it. Get a better angle here. So I'm just cutting this so I can save this tire for some kind of project, possibly, you know. So I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's not that hard. Like, this is like nylon and stuff. There's steel belts in there, but just be careful you don't cut yourself. So just push that in there. Push it in. Just make sure your snip is tight. Once it comes loose, that's screw, it's not gonna cut. So you can just keep going here, and just keep going all the way, and you can save this thing for who knows what, some kind of project. I was thinking, it's like a lot of old tires. Normally you can give your old tire to any garage that's in Ontario. They have to take it for free. Just any garage, and you just ask them and they'll tell you to just throw it in the back. But don't illegally dump. You have to ask them first, and they have to take it by law, same as your motor oil. So that's the way you can remove. If you just want to recycle these rims, or if you can't get that tire off, you can play with it with the grinder. Just be careful. What I said earlier is that guy cut his whole face open. So like I said, this is not recommended. This is just the way I do it. Okay guys, have a nice day.